Hi, guys. I'm just going to wait a few minutes to let you all come in because sometimes I get cut off when I start talking about this too soon. So I'm going to wait for y'all to come in the door. I got a lot of notes today because we have a lot to cover. Hi, Katie. Welcome in. So I was saying I have a lot to cover today. So I have a lot of notes. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully, people will start coming in more, but I need to really have an uncomfortable conversation today because sometimes the people hurting survivors aren't who you think they are. And if you ever felt blamed, dismissed, confused, manipulated, ignored, re traumatized, or sold false hope after abuse, this live is for you. Welcome in. Everybody coming in, welcome in. I got a lot to go over today, so I'm going to be looking over at my notes because I don't have that good of a memory. So I was saying we have to have an uncomfortable conversation today because healing after narcissistic abuse is already hard enough. But trying to heal while people shame you, blame you, sell you false hope, dismiss your lived experience, or pretend to help you while making you feel smaller, that can become a whole other wound. There's the whole smear campaign that we deal with. On top of, people asking you questions like, why'd you stay so long? Or you chose them. So today we're talking about, first of all, self aware narcissist, the false hope, unsafe helpers, victim blamers, shamers, courses, creators, therapists, support groups, and even other survivors who may not be emotionally safe. And this isn't about attacking people, this is about discernment because not everybody who talks about healing is safe for your healing. So what I have to say here, take what resonates and leave the rest. With anything or anybody, you use your own discernment, and that's what today is about. It's about learning to trust yourself and like vet people out. So for those of you that are new here, hi, Carol. My name is Glennis, creator of Shredding Silence, and I speak from my live experience trying to help other survivors recognize the signs, not only the signs of narcissistic abuse, but the steps into healing and trauma bonding, the breaking the generational trauma, curses, whatever you want to call them, all the levels. Um, I've been out of the narcissistic last relationship for almost going on 2 years. It was a 7-year relationship, and I will never be the same. Just like a lot of survivors coming out of this will never be the same. It's something you never want to experience again. How many of you can vouch for that? It's a journey to hell. So, and then I want to say a disclaimer too, because I've been getting a lot of slack for some of my videos that, well, why don't you talk about women? It's not just men. It's not all men. And my defense to that is I am speaking on my lived experience because I am a woman and I was with a man, but that does not erase men going through this too. Women can also be narcissistic and very toxic as well. It's gender neutral. It's both of them. I just speak from my lived experience. Hi, Honey Pepper. I'm good. How are you doing? I'm glad you're cleaning. I wish you could come to my house and we can clean together. Okay, so like I said, I have so many notes, you guys, to go over. This is a lot. So I'm going to be looking this way. I was going to try to go on TikTok live today, but it's just too much. I was going to do them both simultaneously. Um, so let me slow down because this is a layered conversation, and let me know if this resonates with anybody as I'm going through it. Because I think this is one of the topics that I don't hear about a lot after you're healing from narcissistic abuse. But a lot of this is from, my experience. I've experienced everything that I'm talking about today. This is why, survivors are so vulnerable after abuse, because you're emotionally starved, you're confused, you're dysregulated, and you're desperate for answers, and you want the pain to stop. So, my talking points are today: you're trying to understand what happened. You may be grieving the person that you thought they were. Your nervous system is still in survival mode. You may be lonely, you're craving validation. You may be looking for someone to finally say, "You're not crazy." And this makes survivors vulnerable to unsafe people. So after narcissistic abuse, you're not just sad, you're confused, you're grieving, you're trying to figure out what was real, what was fake, what you missed, what you tolerated, why you stayed, all the shame that goes with that, the anger. And when you're in that place, you become vulnerable to anyone who sounds like they have answers. That doesn't make you stupid though. It makes you human, because pain lowers discernment. You're hurting. Nobody likes to hurt. You're desperate for answers. So when you're starving for clarity, even crumbs feel like a meal. How many of you started binge watching videos trying to figure out what happened to you when you were in the narcissistic abusive relationship? And even now, if you've come out of it, how many of you, I bet all of us in here, you feel so much validation when you hear what you experience put into words. So I know a lot of us, we feel like we're losing our minds after that relationship ended. You felt desperate for somebody to understand, and you might trust people too quickly because they use the right words. Um, so you feel stupid. But let me reframe that. It's not stupid. You are vulnerable. There is a huge difference. So a lot of us ignored the signs. Abuse isn't obvious when you're inside the fog. All of us feel these things. Almost every survivor that I've talked to has felt all of these, and it's normal. So you keep looking for answers because your nervous system was trying to solve danger. And this is where false hope can sneak in. And this brings me to self aware narcissist, and false hope. So let me say that just because someone knows they have narcissistic traits does not mean that they are safe, healed, accountable, or capable of healthy love. How many of you have seen self aware narcissists out there, or narcissists that even claim that they are cured? They're better now, those kinds of things. Put a one in the chat if you guys have come across that, and has it made you confused? Because it's a very dangerous place for a survivor to be, or someone that is trying to leave an abusive narcissistic relationship, because we hold on to what? Potential. We hold on to the potential that they could change. Well, this narcissist did it. They're self-aware. Maybe mine can too. And it's rare, you all. I'm telling you, it is rare for a narcissist, like a full blown diagnosed narcissist, even if they're not diagnosed, to change. I'll get into that more later. But so it can be one of the most confusing things for a survivor, because when they say, "I know what I am," part of you wants to think, okay, maybe now they can change, right? But awareness is not the same thing as accountability. Awareness is knowing what to do. Accountability is changing what you do. Self awareness without accountability is just better branding. Can you? You can leave the room, is what you can do. Um, Knowing the language of healing doesn't mean someone is healed. Potential is one of the hardest addiction survivors have to break. You can't love someone into accountability. You cannot explain someone into empathy. You can't sacrifice enough to make someone else safe. Thank you, Katie. You know we're going to get them up in here today, especially. Yeah, there's bouncers in the room, y'all, so you will be booted if you want to cause chaos up in here. Um, so I'm not saying nobody can ever change. I'm not saying, what I am saying is real change is hard. Change takes willingness, long term therapy, humility, honesty, accountability, emotional regulation, change behavior, and consistency over time without somebody telling you to do it. And we don't know when we hear about self-aware narcissists, we don't know what that person's like behind closed doors. To be on the fly on the wall, what we don't see online, self-aware narcissists are still narcissists. Yes. We don't see how do they handle triggers? How do they treat their partner privately? Whether they lie still, do they cheat still? Do they manipulate? How do they repair conflict? Whether they take accountability when no one's watching, or whether their behavior, hi Deanna, welcome in, how are you? Or whether their behavior has actually changed long term. We see the polished version of self aware narcissist online. We don't see the relationship dynamics behind closed doors. We don't know how they handle the word no. We don't know whether they are actually doing the work or just performing insight. So, how many of you stayed because you believed in the narcissist potential? I know I did for too long. I got him to take a course. Those of you that know me know the story, a man's course to heal and stuff like that. And he just went through the motions. He wasn't, his heart wasn't in it. When a self aware narcissist stops psychotherapy, it's a red flag. Their therapy is supposed to be lifelong. Yet behind the closed doors can be very dangerous. So, have any change behaviors? But like I said before, firstly, narcissists don't think they do anything wrong. And most of them don't voluntarily go to a therapist office and say, hey, diagnose me. I think I'm a narcissist. It's extremely rare. So my hope is slim to none that they can change. But this is just my opinion. I have yet to meet. And like I said again, we can't see behind closed doors how really accountable they are. I felt for the potential and believed he would choose to do and be better. I think a lot of us have. We've hold on to that potential, like that last string of hope. Um, so if someone did say, the narcissist I'm with is self-aware, the question is, did their behavior change? Not their words, their behavior, the actual behavior. Because talk is cheap. We've all heard that. A lot of survivors, wait for potential. It can keep you attached to someone who's hurting you in the present. And this is where survivors get sold false hope. So it can be dangerous when you're already vulnerable. It's the danger of waiting for a change. False hope keeps survivors attached to possibility instead of reality. False hope sounds like, well, maybe they'll get therapy. Maybe they'll finally understand. Maybe this video will change them. Maybe this creator over here proves narcissists can heal. So maybe I left too soon. But hope can become a trap when it keeps you bonded to someone's potential instead of their pattern. The question's not, could they change someday? The question is, are they safe for you now? Stop dating potential and stop healing around somebody else's maybe. And there's another one I thought of that you shouldn't have to train somebody that claims to love you how to treat you. They should already treat you with the respect that you deserve. A changed person does not just explain better, they behave differently. Because we all know narcissists like to use the fancy words. They'll pick up words from therapy sessions from psychologists, or they'll watch movies or whatever and mirror everything, all of it. Here's another one. Did you ever stay because of the good moments? Or did you mistake tears for accountability? Did they promise change and then repeat the same behavior? An apology only matters when behavior follows it. Behavior change follows it. Therapy isn't automatically accountability. It's what changes after the therapy. Is there actually change going on? Not just the words, I'm going to do this or I'll be better, or yeah. No, it has to happen afterwards. And if you keep hoping, that's human, but your peace matters more than their potential. And let me say this gently. Hope isn't bad, but hope without evidence can keep you trapped. And I know, hi stargazer, good to see you. How are you doing? Hope can keep us trapped for way too long. So now I want to get into like unsafe helpers, which is other creators, coaches, courses, even support groups. I've had some not so good experiences with some of those, because not everybody who claims to help survivors is emotionally safe, qualified, consistent, or ethical. I always give you guys a disclaimer. I am not a therapist. I am not a counselor. I'm not a coach. I did not take any courses. I speak on my lived experience and because I want to help other survivors with the path that I've already been down, with what I have learned along the way. So, but this is not me saying that all courses are bad. It's not me saying that all creators are bad. It's not me saying that all coaches are bad. I've bought courses. I've had um, some coaches and followed creators. I've learned from people online, but I've also learned that when you're vulnerable, you have to be careful who you give access to your pain, because pain makes you easier to influence. You want the pain to stop quickly, and there's a lot of hype online, a lot. Some people are very good with their words, their presentation, they look professional, polished, put together. They're quick, they're witty, they're charming, and not to say that that is all bad, but I'm going to get into like what the red flags are. Um, Here's one of the big ones: big promises. Here's an example. Breaking the trauma bond in 7 days, or whatever number they give you, 14 days, 21 days, whatever. How many days? Because the danger in this is we all heal and detach at different speeds at our own pace. The trauma bond is deeply tied to the nervous system. There's attachment wounds, grief, intermittent reinforcement, financial dependence, kids, safety, CPTSD. So, if after the 21 days, 7 days, whatever it is that the course claims it's going to help you break the trauma bond with, um, if if you don't break it in that time, then you feel like you failed. And survivors already carry a lot of shame. So you got to watch out for that kind of stuff. And then there's emotional validation, inconsistent in support, like breadcrumbs, brushing off your concerns. I went into support groups with other women, and when we brought up our concerns or we had questions like, what do we do? Because you feel so lost and you're looking to this person to help you and guide you. And we were totally brushed off. Like they read the comment and didn't respond at all. So it's stuff like that. Like you really have to be careful. Brushing off the concerns or ignoring people after taking their money for a course or coaching or whatever it is. Another one's pressuring to buy or sell their course. And if you do buy theirs, rather than them focusing on your growth and your questions and the issues and the struggles, that's the whole reason you bought the course. Another red flag. I got duped with that one too. Another one is failure sits on survivors heavily. Yes. Yep. All of us. Vague credentials. When they say I have credentials in this and that, A lot of like the therapists, you can tell that they are therapists. They'll have their things on the back of the wall, but a lot of the things that if you can't verify it, just be careful with that. There's also best course claims with no proof, or as seen on, you'll say as seen on TV, as seen on here, but you can't verify it because it might be paid PR. And then using trauma language but lacking empathy. And here's another big one, making followers dependent, where people start feeling like I can only feel okay if I hear from this person, or I need their validation to trust myself. Or here's another one, I can't heal unless I stay close to them. Or if they say stuff like, nobody understands you like I do. Therapists don't get it. Only people like me do. Or don't listen to anyone else. Or you don't need that course. Only my course is the only one you need. This isolates you. This is classic narcissism isolation right here. Selling hope instead of tools. So the bottom line is, though, a course should empower you, not make you feel dependent. A creator should not leave you feeling smaller, confused, ashamed, or desperate for their approval, or like they totally just glossed over, like you feel invisible with them. You don't feel you feel worse than when you started. A creator keeping you emotionally activated with videos about, this is another one, keeping you emotionally activated with videos about rage, outrage, fear, hypervigilance, obsession with the narcissist, doom content with nervous system, without nervous system regulation. Um, like binge watching is normal. Like I said earlier in the video, binge watching, you feel validated. You feel like, oh my God, that they put to words what I experienced. That's exactly what I went through. And the light comes on. But then you can get sucked in easily to doom scrolling with um like all narcissists are evil, or and then you start thinking that all the whole world is the evil, the world is evil. But you start not trusting anybody at all, and it's the doom, just negative, like scare stuff, scare tactics. Be careful for those, because there's levels to healing, and someone helpful is going to want you to move from confusion to clarity to self-trust. So if they keep you in that fear mode or feeling dependent all the time, watch out for that, because self-trust is so important when you're healing. Here's some questions. So, has anybody here ever bought something online, like a course or a coach, because you were desperate for answers? Or have you ever joined a support group and you still felt unsupported? Or ever followed someone who sounded safe online but didn't feel safe in the real interaction? Or have you ever felt brushed off by someone who claimed to help survivors? I'll go on to the next thing if you guys want to answer that, and I'll come back to it. So I bought a course and I felt abandoned. And that is painful because you're already looking for support. So being dismissed after trusting someone can feel like another betrayal. And this is, I don't hear this talked about online at all. So now I'm very, and I didn't get hit once, but it was a couple times. It was a learning experience. So I feel embarrassed that I paid for it, and I'm sure there's others out there, but I don't shame myself for it or anybody else, because we were looking for help. We were genuinely, it does not make you stupid, because some courses do help you out there. Um, it's about discernment. So I'm not saying everything is bad. There are good courses out there. There's good creators out there. There's good therapists. Um, but this is where we need to talk about the difference between marketing and safety. So not everybody with good content has good character. And how can we know that? Because when they're online, they're polished, you know, we don't see behind closed doors. Again, like with the self-aware narcissist. Here's another one I went through. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. Bigger creators and being left on red. and feeling forgotten. I recently reached out to another big creator, and I'm not going to say names because this isn't about drama. This is about how you have to be careful with this as well, because some creators respond when it benefits them, but it disappear when survivors need support, clarification, or accountability. So I had reached out to another creator that's quite a big following, and asked her if she'd be interested in an interview because I wanted to talk about stuff like this, self-aware narcissism, and I really looked up to her. She answered at first because I didn't really clarify my question, saying I wanted to interview her. She took it more as that I wanted to hear about the topic regarding self-aware narcissist, and then she said that she had something coming up soon. And so I reiterated and sent back another message, and heard nothing from her. So she initially answered pretty quickly when she knew it was going to benefit her if I was going to show up to her course or membership thing. But when I asked for an interview, which that would benefit me more because I'm a small creator, I got ghosted. I didn't hear anything. And yes, people are busy. I'm not saying that she's not, but the timing was just odd that you can answer when it's going to benefit you, but not when it's going to benefit the survivor. That told me something right there. Passed me the J Queen, bought courses and went to an ashram for help and clarity. I did much better by myself in doing the mental work. Danish is the course I took. It's not bad, but it's pricey. Oh, I forgot that you took Danish's course. Okay, let's move on. And this is delicate. Let me go back to that because nobody owes us unlimited access. And I get that. When they get big, they get busy, they're creating content, they're writing books, they're doing other interviews, they're doing podcasts. But the timing of it all was weird because initially she answered me quickly, like the next day. Not even 24 hours went by. And then after that, it was ghost. So it's whatever. People get busy, they have boundaries, they have lives, but there's a difference between being busy and making people feel forgotten. There's a difference between not having capacity and only responding when it benefits you. All she had to do was say, hey, no, I don't, no thanks, I don't have the time. And I would have been fine with that. That takes what, a second, maybe a minute at most. Um, so some creators remember people when they want engagement, some respond quickly when there's benefit, some disappear when there's concern, some leave vulnerable people on red. Some forget what it's like to be small, unseen, and reaching for help. And I really thought, because she was a victim, I thought she'd remember what it's like to start out as a small creator. And I had hope that she would have reached back to me, but that did not happen. So a simple, I don't have the capacity right now would have meant a lot. You don't have to overextend yourself to be kind, but if your brand is helping survivors, your behavior matters. And that's what it all comes down to. If you market yourself as safe, people are going to notice whether your actions match that. So have any of you guys here ever reached out for help and felt like you got silence? Have you ever reached out for someone and they only responded when it benefited them? Because when you're healing from narcissistic abuse, stuff like this really sets you back. You're trying to heal and move forward. You're trying to trust healthy people, and you feel like other creators that have been through abuse um, would understand that. They'll be there and they'll remember what it feels like. So you know what abandonment feels like, and when that happens again, when they don't respond to you, it just opens that old wound. So maybe they were busy, absolutely. And we can hold that nuance. Busy is real, but patterns also tell a story. Nobody owes us a response. That's true. And kindness still matters. Both can exist at the same time. It's not about entitlement, it's about emotional safety and consistency. Try her again, maybe. Try who? Did I miss something? We can have compassion and still notice patterns. Okay, here's another good one, you guys. Therapists can hurt too if they are not trauma informed. Therapy can help you, but the wrong therapist can cause more damage. If they do not understand narcissistic abuse, coercive control, trauma bonding, or emotional abuse, and especially if they have not lived it. So I know I've gone down that road. Dr. Ramani doesn't always answer. Well, that makes sense for her, but I guess what stood out to me, Honey Pepper, was that she initially answered me pretty quickly when she thought it was going to benefit her. So she had the capacity to answer me that one time. I don't know. I may it's just I'm trusting my gut. I'm trusting my gut on that one. I've reached out and attended courses, and that time involved was just another reiteration of what I already understood. Yeah. You've reached out to Dr. Ramani, Honey Pepper? So I thought I don't stand a chance in hell to get an interview with her, but you never know. Maybe one day. She's probably not cheap. She's very good at what she does. Okay, so therapists can hurt you too. Um, but sometimes therapy helps, sometimes it hurts. This is not anti-therapy because I've heard there's good therapists out there, just like good and bad everything. Um, Sometimes it helps, sometimes it hurts. Therapies save people's lives. The lady who left you on red, yeah, I could reach out again, but there comes a balance. Like when you're learning not to chase people during the healing process, you learn, you ask a couple times, and then there's a difference between chasing. And so I'm still in the healing process, you guys. I'm healing right along with you and learning as I go, uncharted waters. So yeah, I could probably reach out to her again. I'll do that, but there's a fine line there, and it's still not completely clear. So we'll see. Not every therapist understands narcissistic abuse. I've seen several who have wound up in relationships with narcissists. You hear about therapists that wind up in relationships with them, and I don't know if I've ever heard of a therapist that actually specializes in narcissistic abuse that has actually wound up with one, but I have heard of those that aren't specialized in narcissistic abuse and they wind up with a narcissist. That's just crazy to me. But it happens. So not all of them understand the abuse. Not all of them understand coercive control or trauma bonds or CPTSD. And they don't all understand emotional abuse. And here's some examples. And I want you guys to chime in if you've heard anything harmful from a therapist that you've gone to. Here's some examples of harmful things survivors hear. Relationships take two. Maybe you both contributed equally. Or how about this one? Just communicate better. Maybe they didn't mean it. You need to forgive. I got that one. When are you going to forgive him? When he never even asked for forgiveness or admitted to doing anything? Or why didn't you leave? Try couples counseling. Maybe you're overthinking. Um, yeah, so that was my experience. N- Note to all you guys, don't go to therapy with a narcissist. It does not work. You can't therapy them into empathy. You can't therapy them into admitting that they hurt you and did something wrong. It does not work. Doesn't work. It's a waste of money and time. A therapist can be amazing with anxiety or depression and still completely miss coercive control. They can miss a lot of things like that, like my experience. And anybody else, feel free to share here if you've gone through it. If a therapist is not trained in trauma, they don't have the capacity to assist you in meeting your needs. Yeah, just get over it. That's what you heard, Katie. All that crap is invalidating. It sure is, Deanna. And like, we don't need any more of that. When you're trying to heal, it's like we're trying to take a breath, ma'am, from drowning in the ocean, and you come up and it's like they push you back down again. Yeah, it's crazy. So trying to really do the vetting process. If you look for a therapist, you almost have to interview them. Same thing as when Now, everything out of narcissistic abuse, you have to watch what comes into your piece and protect it at all cost. Do the vetting process. I heard all the stuff you were told. Glennis tried the couples counseling. Yeah, it's not fun to hear. It was not a fun time to go through, I'm sure, as a lot of survivors have experienced the same thing. So if they don't understand the abuse dynamic, they may accidentally minimize your reality. And that hurts even more. That's like they're pouring salt in your wound that's already hurting, and we don't need that. They may treat it like a communication problem when it was actually a control problem. So I'm not saying a therapist must have lived experience, but it certainly helps. But for many survivors, lived experience or deep specialization matters. What matters is this: do they understand your reality? This is questions. Here's the questions that you can ask a therapist. So, do you specialize in narcissistic abuse? Do you know the traits, the signs? Do you specialize in trauma? Do you understand coercive control? Do you understand trauma bonds and how to break it? Have you worked with emotional abuse survivors? How do you approach gaslighting and psychological abuse? Do you recommend couples counseling in abusive dynamics? What trauma modalities do you use? Yeah, Katie says you already went through feeling guilty. You don't need extra trauma. No, we need a safe place to be heard, and that is not always easy. Um, and another thing, not only vetting the therapist, but you vet yourself after a session. Ask yourself this: do I feel seen? Do I feel safer? Do I feel dismissed? Do I feel confused? Do I feel blamed? Do I feel like I'm doubting my reality more? And do I trust this person? Like, really listen to yourself about all that. And if it's no, then that is not the therapist for you. Comfort and quiet. hmm Has anybody here has a therapist who really helped them, or a therapist who made it worse? I'd love to hear your stories. And I want to tell you again, when I'm done with this, but we've got a ways to go. This is going to be a long live. I have so many notes on this. Uh, if you go to the post tab on my page, I think I pinned the comment today. I may not have, but it's for today's live, and there's a link in there. If you want to come on and talk later, then I can open that up for us to talk. I'd love to talk to you guys and see your faces. So, has anybody's therapist blamed you? Because that can be incredibly damaging when you're already doubting yourself. And if therapy didn't help you, it didn't fail you, just it's the wrong fit. But that is incredibly disheartening when you're already in so much pain and you want help. So, for the therapist, mine has been helpful. That's beautiful, Katie. The right therapist can be life changing. And this is why vetting matters. Did you go through the vetting process, Katie, or did you just get lucky? Some of us get lucky, because I used to not go through the vetting process, but now that's a must for almost everything now after coming out of abuse. Most therapists are not specialized in trauma informed therapy. Yeah, mine is. That's the one thing I looked for when I got with my therapist, and she's wonderful. So, titles matter less than emotional safety and real understanding. This is why the vetting process matters. And then I want to lead into something that I don't hear anybody talk about on social media about narcissistic abuse, is that even other survivors can be unsafe. When I first got out of the relationship, there was another survivor that I had talked to that wound up, some of them I feel like pick up the narcissistic traits. They're not narcissists, but they're so in survival mode and like hyper vigilant and stuff. I don't think she intentionally did it, but people can unintentionally do something to hurt you. um I can't remember the exact things that she said to me. All I remember is how she made me feel like very dismissed, and kind of gaslit me about something. And so this one's hard to talk about because I never want to shame other survivors, but being traumatized does not automatically make someone emotionally safe either. Hurt people can unintentionally hurt people. Sometimes people are still in survival mode, like I said, and they'll dump everything on you because they've been made to be quiet for so long by the narcissist that they finally have someone to listen to them, and so they want to get all that out, and they're not meaning it in a harmful way. Because I've done it. I've done it where I've trauma dumped on people. When I first got out of it, and so they just need to get all that out, and they'll trauma puke on you and leave you feeling drained and dysregulated, guilty and heavy. And so sometimes they're so deep in their own pain they can't see yours, and the fog hasn't cleared yet, and it can be damaging for another survivor and reinstate the fact that nobody's safe. But that's what happens when survivors collide. They're both trying to, in different levels of healing or getting out of the abuse, and it's unintentional. Most of the time, it's unintentional because when you're in that pain, you're so far down that rabbit hole, you can't see anything or feel anything but your pain. So you have to watch out for that. And it doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just when you're in a lot of pain, you can't see anything else or feel anything else but that pain. That's me after narcissistic abuse. It's awful. Dawn, what part are you talking about? That was you. Felt like that when I was last in your live. I'm scared to watch it over. So if Honey Pepper, don't worry about it. No, I'm so glad that you shared what you did because it's going to help other survivors out there. You did not, I was not talking about you. Trust me, I was not talking about you. You were sharing your story, and you had respect, and you were very self aware in there. So don't worry about that. Narcs are the worst. Yes, they 100% are very harmful, hurtful people, beings. So, unsafe survivor dynamics can look like constant crisis, emotional dumping, no boundaries, guilt if you don't respond, using you to regulate their nervous system, one-sided support. And that's another, Honey Pepper, you always ask me about my side of the story, so please don't feel guilty about that. And this isn't, don't, no need to say sorry, please. You don't have to be sorry, I promise you. That's not about you. No room for your pain. They expect you to carry them, and they make you feel responsible for their survival. So watch out about those things because we're so empathetic that we have to learn not how to regulate other people's emotions, because we've always been the caregivers, the fixer uppers. We tried to fix the narcissist, we tried to overdo for them. And so it's really hard at first because it feels almost cruel that you're not bending at somebody's will, like trying to regulate their emotions. It can feel weird at first when you don't do that because it's foreign to you. You're always used to being, the one that everybody comes to you to for their problems, and you're the one that's so kind and listen, and it's hard to learn. But we have to let people heal themselves and find their own way like we did. It's a more loving thing to do that. Most of us have trauma well beyond the relationship. Absolutely goes farther back than the narcissist that you were with. Narcissists tend to drink and gamble. Yes, because they have to numb their own feelings. They can't deal with their feelings. So they're constantly needing distraction. That came out of the narcissist's mouth that I was with. He needed distractions all the time. So support feels mutual, respectful, grounded, caring, emotionally responsible. Dependency feels like pressure, guilt, panic, obligation, draining, it's one sided, and it's emotionally unsafe. Compassion does not require self abandonment. Yes, and they're addicted to dopamine. Narcissists cannot stay home because you're there and they know you see them for who they are. And then they have to go out and find other supply too, right, honey? Compassion does not require self abandonment, you guys. Someone can be hurting and still be unhealthy for you. You can care about somebody and still not have capacity. Boundaries are not a punishment. They can also hoard and leave mess and dirt everywhere and take over living space. Yeah, I've heard that happen with a few narcissists like that. Um, Boundaries are information. Healthy people respect boundaries, and unsafe people punish them. If someone makes you feel guilty, well, I guess you're not my friend because you're not listening to me, or you have to stop them right there. If you don't have the capacity for that at that moment, it doesn't mean that you don't care. Just have to say, we'll have to come back to this, because it's like the plane thing that I think about all the time. If you don't put the mask on you, you can't help somebody else. So learning boundaries can sometimes feel like you're being mean. Does anybody can relate to that? When you started enforcing healthy boundaries, narcissists cause relational harm. They cause a lot of harm, don't they, honey? Honey pepper. So here's what you can say to that. I care about you, but I don't have emotional capacity tonight. I can listen for a few minutes, but I can't hold all of this right now. I want to support you, but this is bigger than what I can carry. I'm feeling overwhelmed and I need to step back. Or another one is, I care about you, but I can't be your only support. Those are some of the things that you can say. Have any of you guys in here had to step back from another survivor, or felt guilty for having boundaries? Or you supported somebody so much that it started hurting your healing? Or you felt emotionally drained after trying to help somebody? Narcs need to always keep you distracted so they can carry on with their manipulative behavior. He also said, my way or the highway, I will never be you will never be above me. I should have seen the red flags. We've all been there where we tell ourselves we should have seen the red flags, but you don't know what you don't know until you know it, and start the fog starts to clear. So have any of you guys ran into that, like other survivors that you supported them so much it started hurting your healing, or any of the signs you had to step back, you know because we have to stop abandoning ourselves. If you're running out of oxygen because you've got the mask on somebody else, then you're not taking care of you, and it doesn't mean that you're not a caring person. You just have to have those boundaries and limits. You can still care about someone and have boundaries. That's to protect yourself. It's not to keep them out. Now, this is another misunderstanding that I know the narcissist that I was with had. He thought boundaries were walls, like a punishment. Narcissists will always think a boundary is punishment, but it's not. It's a filter to protect you. Unless we need to go like security guard mode in here, and we we need to use bouncers on people that try to come up in here and disrupt our peace on shredding silence. So if you feel guilty for setting boundaries, that is normal, especially if you were trained to abandon yourself. But boundaries are a part of healing. Self abandonment is too easy for survivors. It happened to me exactly, no boundaries, and make you feel guilty. The guilt is normal, Dawn, because we were trained to abandon ourselves. But the boundaries are part of healing. It gets complicated that way. When I try to help it, they feel like they still have to deal with the narc in some way because they have children or want some kind of revenge. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to remove yourself from that stuff. If you feel like it's hurting you and getting in the way of your healing, Absolutely. I mean, it's like mess. Blah, blah, blah. It's like muscle memory, learning healthy boundaries. It's like when you first go to the gym and you start working out, it's uncomfortable at first. So the guilt is normal, but you can be kind and still be honest about your capacity. Like if you just can't do it, you can't do it. If your cup is empty, you cannot do it. It doesn't mean you don't care about that person. You just say, "Hey, I'm going to have to get back with you, or I will check on you later. But right now, I just can't. I can't even breathe. I need to put my oxygen mask on." And if they get mad at you, if you set a boundary, just like Katie said, no is a complete sentence. So that tells you something because healthy people may feel disappointed, but they don't punish you for needing space. Um, and this is where compassion and boundaries have to coexist. You're allowed to protect your peace without becoming cold. All right. So I don't know how many of you have seen the last maybe 3 or 4 videos. I had someone come up in my comments on the videos and he got very upset and well, eventually he got very upset. But at first he said, "I bet you anything you're the problem." So this leads into our next section, which is victim blamers, shamers, and smear campaigns. So after abuse, survivors often get attacked, blamed, doubted, and shamed by people who were never even there. They weren't at the table, they weren't in the room, but we're going to get it all. Every survivor will go through this. The abuse does not end when you leave the narcissist. The smear campaign is the first thing that starts. Then sometimes if you're a content creator like me, strangers will come online and suddenly they're experts on my life. They see a couple of videos that are 60 seconds long or less and somehow they know all about me unless it's the flying monkeys. And people who know nothing about your story and say things like, "I bet you are the problem. Hi, Shannon." And this is why survivors need words ready. This is why a lot of people stay silent. And I will tell you, I don't care what they throw at me. I will not stop talking about this. I will not be silent anymore because silence protects abusers, protects unhealed people, protects people that project onto us. And I just won't do it. You can come up here and say whatever you want. To me, I find it now comical because it's like talking to a toddler. He was deleting the comments and then coming back. And when I'd push back, he'd delete the comments and then I'd make another video and he'd come back. And I'm like, wow, dude, really? Hang on, I got animal hair up my nose. So, um, this is why survivors need words ready. And narcissists rehearse to control, but survivors rehearse to protect themselves. So I was even gonna thinking about making a little cheat sheet on what to say to these people, because you're going to get it. Every survivor will get this crap, at least one or two of these. Um, and I want to say too, you never have to prove your lived experience to a stranger, ever, ever. They can go fuck off. Um, They act like you can go into every detail that happened to you online. Some people are just dedicated to blaming the victim. Yeah, they assume that they know everything about you from a 60-second video. It's insane. They also get very jealous over money. What's yours is theirs, and they will help their self to your stuff and steal it. Yeah, I'm sorry that you went through that, Dawn. There's those types. That sounds more like an overt narcissist. And again, the label does not matter. Abuse is abuse. But a covert narcissist is the one I was with, and he was opposite of that. And that was very dangerous to me because that kept me stuck for so long because he used kindness as a weapon. He would do the dishes, the chores, he would fix our vehicles. He was very generous with money. He helped with the mortgage payment, he helped with the HOA payment, but yet he was still lying to me, looking me in the eyes and still lying and gaslighting and manipulation and all his stupid fucking games. And so they can be one or the other. Um, Shannon, Welcome in, Shannon. Glad you're here. How are you? Um, right now, I'm talking about victim blamers and shamers. And you don't have to prove your lived experience to anybody because we all know narcissists, not just narcissists, but toxic people. They want your energy. They like to fight. They like to be right. They like to cause chaos. They want you to over explain yourself. We no longer do that. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody, stranger, family, anybody. People who are not in the room don't get to rewrite your reality. You know your lived experience. So here's some things that you can say to blamers and shamers, to those types. So if they hit you with, I bet you were the problem. Here's what you can say. Maybe I had flaws. Yes, but there's a difference between imperfection and abuse. Or this one, you don't know enough about my story to be that confident. Here's another one. Interesting. Usually the person rushing to blame the victim tells on themselves. Projection, right? Anybody got this one before? Told that you were probably the problem. They use food as a weapon. Meal times would be a war. Man, that sounds like you're not having a good day, Shannon. I'm so sorry to hear that. You know, after this live, I'm going to open up the chat. If anybody wants to come on here and share, tell their story, whatever, we can talk about whatever we went over today. If you go to the post tab on my YouTube page, and scroll down to where it announces this live, there's a link in there where you can come in and talk. You don't have to show your face on the camera if you don't want to. I know a lot of you don't like doing that. You can just put the camera off and just the speaker, however you want to do it. Your life is not up for a debate. Exactly. Okay, here's another one. I know a lot of you got this, probably most of you. Why did you stay so long? That's the famous one for when you get out of narcissistic abuse. This is why. This is what you can say. Trauma bonds don't work like healthy relationships because abuse is confusing while you're inside of it. God and forgive less, I remain stuck. They are so nice to everyone outside. That absolutely are, Dawn, because that's their mask. If you just be more compliant, that was shocking to hear. Oh, wow. I didn't get that one, but wow, that's okay. So this is the things that we can say. Most abusive people don't introduce themselves as abusive because if they did, we wouldn't be with them, right? That's why they got to use the love bombing and all that stuff. How many of you blamed yourself for staying? How many have you blamed yourself for choosing them? Because have you ever heard this one? I've heard this one. You chose them. Here's what you can say to that. I chose who they pretended to be when they were wearing the mask. The mask is not the same thing as a person. You're stuck physically, mentally, and financially. That is a rough place to be. A lot of us have been there. Yeah, I am so sorry. Me. Yep. A lot of us have felt that, you guys. And all of us have met the mask first. Here's another one. What did you do to make them act that way? What did you do for them to do that to you? Get that one? Here's what you say to that. Adults are responsible for their own behavior. Nothing someone does justifies abuse, ever. They get worse as they get older. That's what I hear. I choose their representative. Nothing someone does justifies abuse. Has anyone been asked what they did to deserve mistreatment? Here's one I get a lot on my videos because, as I said before, I speak on my lived experience because I am a woman and I was with a male narcissist. So I talk about the male narcissist. So I'll get comments saying, "Well, women do it too. Why are you blaming all men?" And they get very defensive. Yes, women do it too, but I am speaking from my lived experience, which does not erase their lived experience, but that people get very excited about that. So, absolutely, abuse is not gender exclusive. Supporting one survivor does not erase another. But notice how quickly survivor conversations get derailed instead of supported. Why are we questioned more than the narcissist? Make that make sense. I chose because everything I wanted to end the relationship, I'd always receive the tears and promises of change. Yeah, their whole performance. Yes, I wonder what I did to deserve the bad treatment daily. You didn't, Deanna. You didn't. It's all within inside of them because they are miserable with themselves, so they have to make you miserable. If you tell anyone they think you're crazy and glad you get it, Deanna. Yeah, they think you're crazy because narcissistic abuse can be so insidious that people think you're making it up sometimes. So that's why I can't wait till that I forgot the word. I got brain fog, you guys. Documentary about narcissism. I can't wait till that comes out because it's going to open a lot of people's eyes. The manipulation tears. Yep, got that too. Alligator tears. Here's another one. Men get abused too, which is kind of relates to what I just said. That, a lot of guys will come up in my videos and say, well, it's women too. Absolutely, it's women. I'm speaking on my lived experience. And male survivors deserve support too. I am open for male survivors coming up in here. Abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter if you're male or female or what you are. Abuse is abuse. But dismissing one survivor is not how we support each other. I'm not for that. I just speak on my specific lived experience. Narcissist playbook. Yes, thank you, Katie, for always reminding me. I need a lot of reminders. I never saw him laugh or smile, only an evil smirk when he made me upset. That's creepy. That must have really dysregulated your nervous system, Dawn, to have seen that all the time, like always walking on eggshells. Are you out of that? I hope so. So, um, here's another one, you guys. There are two sides to every story. This is what you can say to that. There may be two perspectives, but abuse is not mutual conflict. Um, Two sides does not mean both sides caused harm equally. And then there's the narcissist side, and then there's the truth. Because we know how narcissists all protect their image. They're going to smear campaign you because they don't have control over you anymore. So they have to make others, the only thing they can control is the way others see you. And they take that for all it's worth and milk it. Um, the narcissist does not like intimacy. Nope, they don't. I remember trying to light candles, in the shower, and he just got so weird about it. I was like, what the hell's wrong with you, dude? They like to antagonize. No, I'm stuck physically, mentally, and financially. Um, that is a really rough place to be, Dawn. And I have been there before. And because I didn't have family support or any friends that I could stay with, I wound up going to a shelter, which it was very scary for me, but it turned out to be a really good thing. So there's a national hotline. If you call them, just call them, and you do not have to make any decisions. At least call them and talk to them, but do it when he is not around. Of course, I want you to do it when you're safe. He would only bathe if he was going out. It's so hard. I know, Dawn. We've all been there. We've been there. I feel so sorry. I feel for you, big time. I remember it sometimes like it was yesterday. But call that national domestic violence hotline. If you can't use your phone, I don't know if he goes through your phone or anything like that, or if you're able to get to a library and go on their computer and get that number, or I can post it. If you put yes in here, I can post it on my community and you can get it and at least talk to them, see what your options are. Some people get flown to other states. They help you with get a place, your rent. They help me with my deposit. I've heard other survivors, they help them do the same thing. They live double lives and always have multiple devices. Yep, burner phones, you name it. um, Different devices, computers, the work computer. He used the work computer all the time to look up new supply on Craigslist or dating sites, whatever. They absolutely stink. Yes, they do. Yep, especially bad breath. But anyway, here's another one. Let's get back on the subject here. Here's another one. Have you guys heard this? Especially being out of the narcissistic abuse. Move on already. Why don't you just get over it? Why are you still stuck on it? This is what you can say. If they even deserve breath out of your mouth and your energy. Healing is not linear. Talking about what happened is not proof that you're stuck. Sometimes it's proof you survived. You have to talk about things that you have been through to process it. And if they don't want to listen, they can go to hell. So just make discernment on who you even, when people say stuff like this, sometimes just saying nothing at all is the best thing and preserving your energy. And just not, they're just not worth it because they're not there to understand. They're there to judge you. They're there because they think they know what happened because the narcissist put shit in their head, or they're projecting themselves. They're unhealed, and darkness always likes the light. And if someone sees you trying to heal, trying to glow up, they want to put that out. There's a lot of people out there. They don't even have to be narcissists, just toxic ass people that want to put out your light. So they see you trying to do something for yourself or trying to heal, they're going to come around and try to snuff that out. The problem is the system doesn't think coercive control is a crime, especially in the case of adults that live with family members. There's a demon that is a goat. My husband smells like a goat. Demon coming through. Yeah, the demon toxins. So when you guys talk about it, doesn't mean that you're still wanting the narcissist or that you think about them all the time, because I definitely don't. The only reason I think about it is to make content to help other survivors. I don't miss him. Actually, the thought of him makes me want to vomit. And when I run into him, it makes me feel physically sick. So a lot of people will think, well, you must not be over it because you're still talking about it. No, talking about it helps you to process it. Talking about it helps other survivors that have been through it. They feel validated. So there's other reasons, but people with small minds and that feel like they have their mind up about who you are already. So no matter what you say, they're going to decide who you are. So you take it for all you got and you say, okay, believe the rumors. I am what I am, whatever. Just don't waste time on those people. It's just not worth it. Now, I held on to that one guy on my video because it was funny. It actually made me laugh because when you see through them in the game that they're playing, that's all they are, is overgrown children. When you see that, when you see them for who they are, they're pretty disgusting and comical. He also reads and had loads of films and horror and scams. You have to wait on God for justice. There's a demon. That's him show what is really going on in his mind. Yeah. What you watch is what you become. That's why you got to be careful of who you watch. That's why this whole thing is about, be very wary of self-aware narcissist. Anybody that you allow into your space after narcissistic abuse, you have to be extremely careful and slow down. Slow the hell down, because you're in pain. You're not going to make clear decisions. You have to slow down and really think about it. That's why I tell you guys, like, it is so friggin' important to spend some time with yourself every day. Even if you start small, like 5 minutes, so you can hear your own freaking thoughts, because the world is so loud. All the freaking noise, everybody's opinion, everybody's, well, you woulda, shoulda, coulda. You can't hear any of that. So you really need to, first thing when you wake up in the morning, if you can do this, don't pick up your phone. Try this. Don't pick up your phone and just lay there or go for a walk, have your coffee or whatever. Just have complete silence. And then you will be able to start hearing yourself. Because a lot of us, we're so used to the chaos and the freaking noise, we can't hear our own thoughts. And then you don't make good decisions. You have to have clarity to make good decisions and to vet out the right people, because if you're acting upon fear and like the hype of the internet that they have this magical cure for your, trauma bond or however they word it, and they're good looking and they use their charm and all that, just be careful. Just slow down. He has a glass case with bird taxidermy passed down. He knows I don't like it. That sounds very creepy. You're right. On what you watch, you become. Yeah, what you think about, you do. Like the narcissist, they're always, looking up porn or whatever, or they fill their mind with crap, and that's exactly what they are, and that's how they act is crap, and they cheat on you because what you think about eventually is what you're going to do, and they do that. They have double lives. Do not watch self-aware narcs; they'll pull you back into it. Yeah, yeah. I had an experience with the self-aware narcissist. I don't want to mention names because I am not here to start a war or drama or anything. I am here to tell you just to be careful and have a vetting process because self aware narcissists are getting supply from you, the viewer. Yeah, they might tell you things that you need to know, but it would be better to get it from a therapist that has dealt with narcissists or, other survivors that have been through it, or research it yourself because they will suck you in. Okay, so talking about what happened is not proof that you are stuck. Sometimes it's proof you survived. So if someone says, why don't you just move on? Why don't you just get over it? Or you're obsessed. Have you heard this one? You're obsessed. Healing sounds like obsession to people uncomfortable with accountability. And again, naming what happened is part of breaking the silence. You're playing the victim. Have you guys heard this one? You're playing the victim, or you're the narcissist. Talking about abuse is not playing the victim. Staying silent to make others comfortable is not healing. Or how about this one? I've heard this one too. Well, maybe they weren't that bad. They seem so sweet. That's because you saw the version they wanted you to see. Did you see them behind closed doors? No. The public version and the private version can be very different. Why are you still talking about it? Because silence protects abusers, not survivors, because someone else may need the words that you didn't have. Another survivor out there or victim out there may need what you have to say, may be exactly what they need to hear at that moment, because everybody, all of us, have a different story with narcissistic abuse. So, out of all those things, you guys, what are some of the things that you heard from people when they tried to shame and blame you or minimize it or say, oh, it was just a bad relationship? No, mofo, narcissistic abuse is a whole other can of worms. It's not just another relationship. Some people will accuse you of being the narcissist. Yeah. And you know what you can say to that one? One word: accountability. I can take accountability. The narcissist cannot take accountability. What are some things you guys? I did a poll in the community to see how many of you freeze when people ask you things like that. Because when you're coming out of narcissistic abuse, you're still doubting yourself, because you've been gaslit so hard that you doubt your own reality. You don't trust yourself. And when people say stuff like that, it's very damaging because it makes you freeze and you don't know what to say until maybe when you're in a safe space and it's calm and it's quiet, and then you think, God, I wish I would have said this. And you get so pissed at yourself because you didn't say the thing that you wish you would have said to put them in their damn place. That's because your nervous system was still in the fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. and you didn't know what to say. And it's god awfully frustrating when you do get in a safe space and you think about it, it pisses you off because you're like, damn it, why didn't I say that? But it's muscle memory, you guys. As you regulate your nervous system and the brain fog clears, like I'm still dealing with brain fog from it. That's from trauma. When you forget, it's not that you're stupid. Because my mom, my mom would tell me that I'm stupid, and I had a hard time with math. It's because of trauma. I was going through so much trauma as a child. I was just operating off of survival mode, and so math and me did not get along. I had instant brain fog. Even now, I do. It's so deep seated. So when you have that trauma stored in your body, and your body remembers all of that stuff, you will freeze. You won't know what to say to somebody. But here's one thing I want you guys to take away from this. If anything, it'll be easy to remember. And remember, you do not owe anybody an explanation of your lived experience. That is your lived experience. It's valid, it's true. You know it's true. You know you're not crazy. And it doesn't matter what that fucking person thinks. It really doesn't. Because if someone really cares about you and they're a good person, they will ask you questions. They will lean in and say, what made you stay so long? They'll ask it in a totally different way. You know, they'll want to know. They'll ask questions like in a caring, loving way. Your body will know who is safe to tell stuff to and who isn't. Um, so freezing is a nervous system response. It's not a weakness. And all of us say, I wish I would have said something when we're quiet. You know, we're in freeze mode. Um, That's why we practice, not to attack someone, but to protect ourselves. It's like muscle memory. When you learn what to say or not to say, remember, not saying something is protecting yourself too. Not saying something is okay. It's not weakness. They might see it as that, but who gives a shit what they think? It's all about protecting you so you feel safe. You feel safe and you feel protected. You just have to tell yourself, I don't owe that person anything. If that person's not here to help you with your healing and lift you up and they just want to shove you down and like shame you, then they don't deserve a space in your life anywhere. Tone can tell you so much more. Yeah, tone and body language. What makes you so smart? Yeah, and what makes you so smart? Such a knockdown to my confidence. Yep, I've heard that one too, Shannon. They hate it when you ignore them. Yeah, because they want to feed off of your emotions, Dawn. That's how they get their fuel. It's like they can't breathe without somebody's emotions to suck out. Gray rock. And I wanted to talk to. I'm going to do some videos this week too about sometimes there's more violent narcissists that gray rock and things like saying, can you repeat that, might piss them off into a violent episode. So I'm going to deal with that too, because someone came in the comments and said that. Um, Again, I want to tell you, I'm not dismissing that. But when I create my videos, a lot of it's off of my lived experience, but I do care about what you guys are going through. And I'll make videos on what you guys are going through. You can always come into the community on the post and let me know because I want to be where you guys are at. You know, I care about where you guys are at. He would stand in front of me with his hands on his hips and shout at me and respond. He was violent as well. Wow, yeah, he sounds very explosive, Dawn. It's be so scary for you. I hope you're able to get away sometimes and find some peace, like a safe space or pretend. I know my best friend told me she used to pretend that she had to go to the bathroom. Does he follow you everywhere too? God, I hope not. Okay, so when you say, I wish I would have said something, that's why we practice not to attack, but protect ourselves. And if you over explain, survivors often over explain because they were trained not to be believed. You have to train yourself to not over explain because someone who genuinely wants to understand you is going to ask the right questions and they won't be shaming you or you'll be able to tell. Your body will feel safe with them. And you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. You know, you learn to say less. Less is more. Let me give you another line you can borrow. So I always remember this one. You do not have to argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You don't have to explain yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you, which is usually all narcissists, a lot of toxic people. They don't want to have an adult conversation. It's a fight. They always have to be right. They're going to skim over anything you say, project everything onto you. And it's just word salad, all of it. It's just cut it off. Don't waste your energy on that because they're going to misunderstand you no matter what you say, no matter how many times you explain it. You can soften your voice. You can come to them at the right time of day because, now they're tired from work. So I'm going to have to wait, maybe till tomorrow afternoon. No, no time is a good time for somebody who's committed to misunderstanding you. No, no time's a good time. No way of explaining it is a good way to explain it. So protect your peace and just don't even bother explaining them because they're committed to misunderstanding you already. And not just the narcissist you were with. Because when you get out of narcissistic abuse, you guys, you are going to run into more narcissists. You are going to always run into more toxic people. The world is full of them. Like you see so many. When you get out of it, it's like they're everywhere. Share a life lesson. Like what do you mean? Kanga the Bosco can get the, I'm not sure how to read that. Oh, they take over the bathroom. I can hardly even get in there. Are you able to go for walks, Dawn? Some comments don't deserve your nervous system, you guys. So just keeping your peace. Oh, and I want to bounce back to this. Like if you guys ever get like want to take a course or anything and you can't, there's unverifiable credentials or PR claims. You need to be careful with those people who use authority signals to look more qualified, safe, and successful than they actually may be. Things like as seen on TV, featured by best course, top expert, award winning, or big claims that you can't verify. Sometimes those things are real, but sometimes they're paid PR. Sometimes they're exaggerated. So don't be afraid to verify it. And a red flag is like with any course or coach or anything like that, watch out for vague media claims where they say it's the best course, whether there's no source for that, or impossible income claims. There's no clear credentials. There's no transparent experiences, no accountability. It's all image and little substance. No way to verify their testimonials, deleting criticism and silencing your concerns. So being visible is not the same thing as being qualified. And this goes for self-aware narcissists because a lot of them are coaches out there. Being charismatic is not the same as being safe. Being popular is not the same as being trustworthy. So someone can have tons of followers. It doesn't mean that they're trustworthy or a safe place. Mine would have a rage fit if I close the bathroom door. I try when I have the energy to go. Wow, my experience was totally opposite, you guys, because he used the time that I was away from him to find new supply and talk to his supply. So I'm so sorry you're going through that. Dang, what a psycho! But he don't exactly do that. So a lot of us can trust someone because they look official. Big claims that you can't verify. They feel impressive. Like everybody falls for the hype online. You know, like quick answers, quick richness, quick all of it. Microwave stuff. So actually look for resources, real credentials, consistent behavior, outside reviews, and how they respond to hard questions. Because I've gone up in somebody's live to call them out on something and my comment was blocked. It was from a program that I had bought from somebody. Another big red flag is they post themselves in church, like being a good guy. And who the hell does that? You don't go to church to like make a video on yourself. You're supposed to be there to pay attention because you're learning and worshiping or whatever. Like that's a huge red flag when people use religion and stuff. So a big following does not automatically mean emotional safety. That goes with anybody, content creators, the coaches, self-aware narcissists, all of them. This is why we don't just look at what people claim. We watch what they do, what they consistently do. Consistency. Okay, pressure selling courses making followers dependent. I think I already went over this, you guys. Good support empowers people. Unsafe support makes people dependent, pressured, ashamed, or afraid. They all become psycho when they feel out of control. But let me tell you this though, courses are not automatically bad. Coaches aren't automatically bad. Paid support's not automatically bad, but pressure, shame, fear, and dependency are red flags. Watch out for all that stuff. If they say things like, you need this to heal, or there's guilt if you don't buy it, or constant urgency, um, fear based selling, over promising results, making you feel broken without them, or discouraging outside support, acting like they're the only answer, or making followers emotionally dependent. I've watched videos from someone who offers coaching, but I don't trust her. What made you not trust her, Deanna? That's good that you had some self-awareness about that and you listened to your body. My ex drove around with a Bible sitting on the dash of his truck. We were together 24 years and we never stepped in a church. Yeah, it's all about that image, right? All about the image. Like if you, yeah, that's what I witnessed with someone that offered coaching and courses. And I was like, that was the one video that made me like, something's not right about this, you know? Why do you got to show yourself in church? Like that's what narcissists do. That's part of that image, the image management. From UK, he had a job with the Met Police in admin. He used to take all the stamps and use them when they want stamped. They drain you and suck your blood. Yeah, they suck all the light out of you that they don't have within themselves. If you don't trust others or it gives you bad vibes, it's best to stay away. Yeah, and just slow down. That's the main thing with manipulative people and toxic people. They like speed. They want emotional reaction, speed. They want you to feel intimidated, a sense of urgency, all that. Um, just remember this: slow down. Slow down. Don't act quickly. Don't impulsively say I need this because they'll it's all the marketing thing, you guys. It's a whole big can of worms and they play on it. Narcissists are making a killing out here with the money. All the victims are falling hook, line, and sinker. Oh, she proclaims feminism but has a male partner. But watching the two interact makes me squirm. I would never want to be a man hater if I were a guy. That's good that you saw the signs, Deanna. That some people get sucked in without they'll see the signs too late. That's why I say like slow down. It's so important. Just slow down with everything and learn to respond versus react because when we're with a narcissist, they push our buttons, push, 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 push. You know, they lie, you know they're lying, and they're looking in your eyes and you know that they know that you know that they're lying and they still keep doing it. And after they do that and push, 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 and you just fucking lose your shit on them. We have to learn how to not do that anymore and not let people control us in that way, no matter who it is, because we're always going to run into toxic and manipulative people everywhere, especially after narcissistic abuse. It's like our eyes are more open. It's not that they weren't already there, it's just our eyes are open to all of it now. So the hypervigilance is no joke. Yep, he had old purse of mine. I found it under the bed. Why? Because he was taking your stuff, Don? Always respect and rely on yourself. Now just slow down. Slow down is my biggest advice today. Slow down. And you don't have to you don't have to react or even respond to everybody. You know, the vetting process, like ask yourself, what is this person trying to accomplish right now? Like when that guy came up in my video on my comments saying, "Oh, you're probably the problem." Okay, buddy, you know that from like a 5-second video? Okay. Because people that genuinely want to understand will have adult conversation and not, that's childlike. All the whole behavior, the whole interaction was extremely childlike. He had no curiosity, no questions, no nothing. So just slowing down and thinking that you don't always have to respond to someone, you don't always have to answer, especially when they're committed to misunderstanding you. So healthy helpers make you stronger, unsafe helpers make you dependent. A safe course gives you tools, and an unsafe course makes you feel like you cannot heal without them. Are they teaching you to trust yourself or only to trust them? Have any of you guys felt pressured to buy something while you were vulnerable? Katie says, take a lot of deep breaths. Yes. Tabby Barrett, they will hide your belongings. Hi, Tabby. Welcome in. I don't think I've seen your name before come up in the chat. Hide your belongings and steal them. And then make you feel crazy, like gaslighting you, right? Like they knew where it was the whole time, but they'll look like the hero. Ooh, I found it. Yeah, I've heard about those games too. Uh, so buying because you're desperate. Come out of narcissistic abuse and you just want answers. You're in such pain. You just want it to go away, right? Nobody likes to be in pain. So I bought courses when I was desperate. Because when you're desperate for relief, hope is powerful. And then you feel scammed, you know. Don't ignore that feeling. Look at the pattern and trust what you experienced. It's not about saying every course is bad again, or every coach is bad. Just use your discernment and discretion. It's about protecting vulnerable people from being exploited, because so many self-aware narcissists and other creators and people selling stuff are taking advantage of all the victims out there. You know, they know that you're in pain, they know that you're vulnerable, and they're going to play upon that. So just protect yourselves, you guys. Sometimes people performing healing, wisdom, spirituality, or empathy online. Notice performance. Does this person feel grounded, or do they feel like they're performing wisdom? Do they seem sincere, or does everything feel like branding? Do they seem emotionally safe or just impressive? That's why, like, I come on here with the live, even though I'm scared. Like, I get nervous because I have to look at my notes. I have brain fog. This is me, real in the raw. You know, with my videos that I regularly post, I use the filters because I like to. Everybody wants to look nice, especially after you come out of narcissistic abuse, because they're comparing you with everybody and make you feel like you're not good enough. Of course, I'm going to use the filters because I'm getting older. I have all these, you know, age spots and shit like that. Yeah, who doesn't want to look good? But I come on my lives. There's no filter on this. You can see all my imperfections and stuff like that because I want you guys to know that I am real. I'm real. I'm not perfect. I'm not polished. I don't have a professional setup here because I want people to feel like this is a safe space, that I'm a real thing, you know? Not looking after you if you get sick. I've had my own issues, but surely changing myself. And that's important, Tabby, that you're changing yourself, you know, healing, growing, evolving, and changing, which is something a narcissist and toxic people don't do. They refuse to do it because everything else is everybody's fault. Everything is everybody else's fault, right? So this is more red flags about self-aware narcissists, the creators selling you stuff, coaching, all of it. If everything feels staged, if there's too much image management, spirituality as performance, healing as a costume, constant attention seeking, no humility, no accountability, always the hero, never the learner. Those are some red flags to protect yourself and watch out for in the vetting process. Do they just feel safe or they feel impressive? Do they leave you feeling calmer or more focused? Do they teach discernment or dependency? Do they welcome questions or punish them? Welcoming questions all the time. Um, I don't want anyone dependent on me. Shoot, I can't even depend on myself half the times. So, have you guys ever watched someone and something just felt off? Yeah, and you ignored your gut because they sounded so convincing. They have a good following. You know, they have this credential, that credential, all of that stuff, and you confused charisma with safety. like Dr. Romney says, people with charisma scare me. Charming people scare me because the covert narcissist can be very charming, look very helpful. They go out of their way for people, but this is all a part of their act. It's like the look at me. I'm such a nice person. I'm such a good guy or a good girl, because women do it too. Um, that scares me. I don't like those kind of people. They're a big red flag to me now because he was the only one that I've been with in the history of relationships that was this way. Very helpful, very generous with money, helping around the house. It was to throw me off while he did all the shady shit behind my back. Energy sucks so bad. My eyes are set. Thank you, Katie. I tried to be. This is the real me, all tired from a week's worth of work. No filter, no nothing. I've been through that. That means it's time for you to provide yourself with care. Yeah, self-care. So have you ever ignored your gut because they sounded convincing? I have. I've bought courses. I've had coaches. Um, And I wish I would have had someone telling me what I'm telling you guys now to save me from it because some of them are expensive. I spent a lot of money, like thousands of dollars on courses and coaches. So I confused still after getting out of that narcissistic abusive relationship with a covert narcissist who was very charming. I still confused charisma with safety. It takes you a while to learn. Like it's not a straight line from healing. Like you have to go get some bumps and bruises before you like, oh, okay, I think I finally learned that one. And discernment, let me tell you guys, discernment is not judgment. Discernment is protection. You don't have to keep consuming content that dysregulates you. Your nervous system is allowed to have information. I have to catch myself with that a lot. Like you guys found yourself so sucked into narcissistic abuse content, but it doesn't have, like, some creators don't go beyond just the red flags of narcissistic abuse. They don't go through the layers of healing. So you get stuck in consuming content. Narcissistic abuse, narcissist that, narcissist that. But it doesn't teach you how to go to the next level of how to trust your own gut, how to go through the healing stages, how to learn to trust yourself. It's so important that you learn the signs, but yet you go to the next level and learn the healing. Learn how to regulate your nervous system and not get stuck in just consuming the content. That's what I did. I had to get myself out of that and move through all the stages. And I'm not shaming you guys for watching. All of us do it because that's how we found out. Thank God for the internet, right? Like I wish we would have had this years ago. Um, Instead of, finding out in my late 50s, finally waking up to narcissistic abuse and all the signs, thinking, damn, I this information could have been helpful like 30 years ago. But what I'm saying is don't get stuck there and be careful, be extremely careful with self-aware narcissists or narcissists out there that say, oh, I'm cured now. My narcissism is cured. Like just be very, very discerning, okay, for your protection. So here's how you can vet self-aware narcissist creators, courses, and therapists and helpers. Vetting someone is not being paranoid. So don't let anybody tell you that and don't tell yourself that. It is protection. Protection for yourself. Do not trust people only because of words, titles, how many followers they have, charisma, credentials, or content. So vetting is not being paranoid. Vetting is protecting your healing. After abuse, we have to learn to trust slower. Like I said before, slow yourself down. Don't act on an impulse. Think, am I buying this because I feel so desperate for this pain to stop? Like, start listening to yourself. Watch their behavior. How do they handle criticism? How do they handle disagreements? How do they respond to your concerns? Whether they delete or silence valid questions. whether they take accountability, whether they shame people, whether they pressure people, whether they create dependency, or whether their behavior matches their message. Then you ask yourself this: do I feel empowered or small? After listening to this person, do I feel calm or confused? Do I feel pressured? Do I feel seen? Do I feel like I can ask questions? Do they respect boundaries? Do they admit mistakes? Do they repair harm? Do they have actual experience with this topic? Do they understand trauma, narcissistic abuse, coercive control, and emotional abuse? And are they safe off camera? Now, a lot of that off camera, what I mean is like if you talk on the phone with, say, you purchase a course or something, or you hire a coach, do they feel safe on the phone? A lot of times you might go on, how did we do our, what is that called? I can't remember the name of the program now. Anyway, where the appointments were on camera, so video cameras, so you can see them. Are they safe on the camera when they're not polished on their videos? Watch them for a while. Watch their lives, ask questions, pay attention to how they respond to you. Look for patterns, not one time excuses. Verify claims. Notice pressure. Notice how your body feels. And again, trust slower. Okay, let me catch up on these comments here. Been through that. Means it's time, self care. I've ignored way too much throughout my life. That was a big part of my childhood training. Wish I would have been taught early on in my life. Yeah, so many of us do. Like I wish we would have had that. Social media helps so much. Like it's helping raise narcissistic abuse awareness. And I'm so excited for that freaking documentary. I cannot wait. How many of y'all gonna watch it? I mean, I looked, oh my God, I've got to go or I'm going to die. Like my energy, I mean, my jaws were even sunken in. Oh, Tabby, I hope you can get out of that. And you grew up around it too. We used to run to our bedrooms when dad got home. Oh, Shannon, that's so sad. Yeah, not a fun way to grow up. And too many kids grow up in that kind of dynamic. I reverted back to my childhood trauma responses when I realized the situation I was in. Trust slower. How did you get out of it? Not sure who that question's for, Rosemary. Stargazer, I'll watch it. Yeah, I want to watch it too. I think you can donate to it and then you get early access. It's like $20 or something. I got to remind myself to go do that. It looks really good, you guys. I cannot wait. And then we can all talk about it. I'll make a live about it. I use an online help service, and one I was talking to was in her car and her spouse said something. So you feel like it wasn't really private? Yeah, she shouldn't have had you. That's privacy right there. Online help service. Was it one of the national domestic lines? What's coming out soon? The documentary, Lindsay, it's called The Narcissist Playbook. You can look it up online. You can go to their website and it's an awesome trailer. It's got Sam Vaknin in it. You know who that is, right? He's the self-aware narcissist, the Professor Vaknin, and he says some really disturbing things. Also, who else is it? Cluster B Milkshake, self-aware narcissist. Also, Lee Hammock, self-aware narcissist. Who else? Dr. Romney is in it. It looks really good. I am so excited to see it. So, anyways, you guys, with anybody, when you do the vetting process and you slow down and you take your time, you ask yourself, do they leave you feeling empowered or confused and small? Do they help you trust yourself or do they make you feel like you need them? You should not have to need them. They're part of the healing process. When you learn how to trust yourself, you don't want to attach in an unhealthy way to somebody else, no matter who it is. So I want to ask you guys some questions. Feel free to answer if you want. or again, I want to tell you guys, if you go in the post tab on my page, I posted the link to come into the live, because after I go through all my notes, I'm going to open it up for anybody that wants to come on and share their story or talk about anything that we've talked about today. It'd be nice to see a face, but if you don't want to show your face, that's okay too. You can cut the camera off and just talk in the microphone. It's just always nice to put a face to names and stuff. Gray Rock for 7 months. It was hard, but for me, it sped up his discard of me. Yeah, that's awesome. Gray Rock works pretty well for the most part. I just want to dive more into next time, maybe on the more volatile ones that don't, that those tactics, it pisses them off. Like when the, who said that? Shannon said that earlier. I think that the things that she tries to use piss him off. It aggravates some of them more. So I don't want you guys using that. If it's gonna put you in danger, don't do it. You know what triggers the narcissist that you're with. So please use discernment. So what makes someone feel safe to you? What red flags do you notice now that you missed before? Have you learned to trust your gut more? And these are all questions you guys can answer on here if you want, or you can come on. If someone sends an invite, they can come on here and we can talk about it. Do you feel safe asking questions, or do you feel afraid of being dismissed? I still struggle with that one, asking questions and afraid of feeling dismissed, because I have to be an advocate for my daughter who has a lot of chronic illness and health issues and disabilities. Dealing with doctors really sucks because there's a lot of narcissistic doctors out there. There's a lot of medical gaslighting. And so I'm afraid like asking them stuff is like talking to a wall. So yes, I feel afraid of being dismissed still. We're always working on something through the healing process. So whatever you guys are, you want to answer any of those questions. And has anyone said this, coming out of narcissistic abuse? I don't trust anyone now. It makes so much sense after betrayal, because the goal is not to trust everyone. The goal is to trust slower. I wouldn't watch anything made by a narcissist. Motives are never good. Fooled again, in my opinion. I don't believe it was me. He would threaten physical harm. When that didn't work well enough for him, he then started physically threatening my. Oh, they will always go to the child. I don't believe it was me. Shannon, I know I asked a question. Are you answering one of the questions? Sorry, I get lost in the chat sometimes. I wouldn't watch anything made by a narcissist. Hey, Katie, I don't think I forgot that guy's name that is the director of this new documentary about the narcissist playbook. He's not a narcissist, is he? I never checked that out, but regardless, it looks like a really good documentary. So I don't trust anyone now. Anybody ever said that? Any of you guys? How do you know who is safe? I tell my friend, I'm like, the whole fucking world is full of narcissists. That's all I run into because it seems like it's a pandemic. They're everywhere we go. And you see so many unhealed people that, are just operating out of overgrown child mindset. And it's like it's why so many people are in solitude right now. You just don't have the energy after coming out of something like this, and you don't want to deal with people, you know? He would threaten physical harm. That didn't work well enough for them. He started threatening. How did you deal with that? How did you deal with that, Katie? When they come after your kids, man, that's such a low blow. 'Cause they know that's the way to get to you. That's why a lot of them, they'll fight over custody of the kids, not because they want that relationship or the kids, or they're afraid of the kids being taken away. It's to get back at the mom or the dad. I'm sure women do it too. I got to remember to be mindful that, guys go through this with women too, that women absolutely can be narcissist and toxic and abusive. Absolutely. I'm not dismissing or discounting anybody's lived experience. It has no, it's gender neutral. It's both sexes. Do I, how do I find, go do a Google on the narcissist playbook and it should pop up. It's like a red, there's a lot of red on the page. And then they'll show you a little trailer. It's really good. It's spine chilling, especially what Sam Backman says. It's just, it's very disturbing. It's wow. So patterns matter more than promises. Consistency is evidence, behavior is the receipt. And this is why I want to give survivors tools because so many of us freeze. Like when I gave that poll a couple days ago on my community page, a lot of you guys said that you freeze when someone says these things to you. It's because your nervous system is still in that fight or flight or freeze mode. And then when you feel safer, that's why you remember and you want to kick yourself in your own ass because you're like, why didn't I say that? You get so frustrated with yourself because we freeze. We're so used to we getting blamed and shamed and derailed and dismissed, and suddenly our minds go blank. So we're going to practice words. You just practice. You guys think of it as like going to the gym. I'm practicing all the time, and then the more and more you do it, it just comes naturally. And I know the more and more I do this, that I'll be able to use my notes less because I'm still dealing with the brain fog. You know, and again, we're practicing not because we want to attack people, but because we want to protect ourselves. Because you are always, even when you get out of the narcissistic abusive relationship, there's toxic people everywhere. There is no shortage of narcissist and toxic people. Did you find it, Shannon? I don't know if maybe I can post it in the community too. Is it the narcissist playbook? I always get confused about this. It's either the narcissist playbook or narcissist playbook. So try it both ways and see if it pops up. And I forgot the guy who's filmed it. I forgot his name. I'm blessed to have given birth to a barbarian. Yes, you're so lucky. I wish you guys lived here so he can be like a bodyguard. I let my son know what was said, and he stayed visible when my former spouse was behaving like that. Frozen for 14 years. That's a long time, Shannon. Okay, so it is just narcissist playbook. Okay. Um, so again, you guys, we're gonna practice the words on what to say, and maybe I'll put a list up in the community. It's not because we want to attack people, it's because we want to protect ourselves because we're gonna constantly, even coming out of if you're gone from the narcissist, you're gonna get it everywhere. Friends, family, coworkers, you go online. If you're a content creator, you're gonna get it. You most definitely will get it there. So it's good practice. Like I actually welcome them when they come around because it gives me practice, like how to respond versus react, or whether they even deserve my response at all. Because a lot of people, like I said earlier, do not deserve your response. They don't deserve the breath that it takes to come out of your mouth into their ears, that they're not going to hear you anyway. Because why? Someone that is committed to misunderstanding you is that they're committed to misunderstanding you. So no matter what you say, no matter how you say it, no matter how kind, even if you write it down, they don't fucking care. They don't care. Longer than that, if you count my childhood, I will look, I have no Wi Fi yet. Okay. Yep. A lot of us, it doesn't start with the narcissist that we were with or that some of you still are with. It goes way back to our childhood. If you look over the patterns, it's generational trauma is a thief of families, a thief of everything. Like it destroys families until you decide enough is enough. You're the one that is the cycle breaker and say, this shit stops here. It stops here because I cannot repeat this for the next generation. And we didn't deserve it. That's the screwed up thing about it. Like nobody deserves generational trauma. We just inherited it. We got lucky somehow and inherited it. If you very unlucky. Hi Kelly, welcome in. After dealing with my mother for 54 years and dealing with the man I met, I remember you, Kelly. I think you've been on some of my videos. I remember your story. I'm ready to move on from all of this. The hurt being used by other people. I'm truly all alone and I'd. Okay, it cut you off right there, so I'll wait for the rest of it. So many people are in the same situation and we're in our, 50s, 60s and dealing with all of this. And now, yeah, we wind up alone because you guys, even if you're not with somebody, like I put out a couple videos about this, like you can be with someone and still feel completely and utterly alone. You can be in a room full of people and still feel completely and utterly alone. Like so many people are, they're so asleep. And I think of it like this. Say you got a restaurant, right? You make nice gourmet food, fancy dishes and stuff like that. To me, this is how most people are. Like they will stand outside the window and look inside your restaurant, your new gourmet restaurant. You have lots of awesome shit to offer, right? But they'd rather go next door or look through your window and wave and say, "Hey, what's up?" Or maybe they'll crack the door and say, "Hey, what's up? Just checking if you're still in here." But they never walk in and actually sit down with you and want to eat. You know what I'm saying? Is that it's like a book, but they never open the cover and read it. And that's what I like. People are so shallow that's why you get very selective when you come out of a narcissistic abusive relationship about who you allow into your space and how at what depth they are allowed because not everybody deserves your energy. Not everybody deserves the wonderful person that you are because most people don't care to get to know you. They want to know what you can do for them or they want you to regulate their emotions. Um, that's why you really got to vet everybody. And the main thing, the one thing I hope that you guys take away from this is that slow down. Slow down with people, no matter who it is, neighbor, friend, family, coaches, self-aware narcissist, anybody on here. And pay attention to how they make you feel and watch for patterns and anybody outside the internet, the same thing. You just use the vetting process for everybody because not everybody deserves access to you. And what I mean, what I was saying, did I finish up about the restaurant? This is how I feel about people. People can only meet you where they are. If they're uncomfortable with in-depth conversation, then they're not going to have it with you. And I learned that too, like not to expect that from someone. If they can't find it in themselves, they're not going to be able to give it to you. And that's why a narcissist cannot be in a healthy relationship. That is they don't have it in here. So they have to regulate themselves outside of themselves. That's why they have to have constant supply. They're always looking for someone to attach onto like a leech because that's what they are. They're leeches. They attach onto them, then they mirror them because they need that fuel. It's like oxygen to them. They cannot breathe without supply. Now, we as empaths, we internalize our trauma. So it comes from within here. And we have to, that's why we overgive. That's why we're people pleasers, all of that stuff. But the good thing about it too is that we can actually have genuine connection and conversation. Now, the next trick about that is which I am going through, it's hard to find those kinds of people because not everybody's comfortable with themselves. Everybody's walking around with unhealed childhood trauma and wounds and trauma stuck in their bodies because I didn't know this either that the trauma lives in your body and if you don't get it out, it's going to come out in other ways. Headaches, stomach aches, illnesses that you don't explain, all of it, and it doesn't get processed. It's like a volcano that's been shoved down and shoved down and shoved down. Eventually the volcano's gonna explode in some not so good way. um The hurt being used by other people. I'm truly all alone. Okay, I read that poem. Farmer Narc wouldn't complete those threats because he didn't want the responsibility. Hi, Nana Banana. Hey, I remember your name. Nana Banana. That's fun to say. Nana Banana. Kelly, I'd rather be alone than to deal with people that are only going to use me and abuse me. I so get you about that, Kelly. And a lot of us feel that way because it's just not worth the energy that you expend on people that aren't going to be reciprocal and meet you halfway. Most people don't want a connection. It's not only the narcissist. You'll find when you come out of narcissistic abuse that you just want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be validated. But most people are like, they got their blinders on. They just want to know, like, what can you do for me? Like, what, or they don't want connection, but they want access to you. They want you in their lives, but only for the purpose that serves them. I just made a shirt about that too. It's better to be alone than to wish that you were. There is healing in solitude. That's what the back of it says. They judge books by their covers. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people only want pretty books to show off but never read. Yeah, especially a narcissist. They like the arm candy, because it has to do with their image. Like, look at me. Look at what I got. Look. Has nothing to do with the person's mind and their soul. It's look how they make me look. I'm reading Atomic Habits. Shrey, hi Shrey, welcome in. What's Atomic Habits about that, and who wrote that? Real empathetic people are rare. They really are. So when you find them, embrace them with all you have because it is extremely rare nowadays. Everybody, even with social media and just everything, it has changed our world so much, even since, COVID. Everything is so changed. Everybody's just so to themselves. It's like they're in their whole little world. Like you could pass someone on the street and they don't even notice that you pass by. They're too busy on their phones. They're so not self-aware. And I'm like, I'm used to saying hi. I'm pretty friendly. When someone walks by, I'm used to saying hi, cute dog or whatever. And most of the time people don't even look up. They don't even know that a person has passed by. That's insane to me. So yes, real empathetic people are rare and hard to find, and people that genuinely want to get to know you and ask questions and don't make you feel invisible are hard to find too. Open therapy for almost 3 years in October, and my therapist told me to stop writing a book about everything I went through with my mom and then meeting him 60 years of pure manipulation. So your therapist told you to stop writing a book? Why did he tell you to stop writing a book? Went through with my mom, everything you went through with your mom. I wouldn't listen to that clown. You do what you want to do, Kelly. If you want to write that book and that helps you and it's going to help other survivors out there in a way, write it. I say write it. Went through with my 60 years of pure manipulation. That's a long time. Um, so I want to ask you guys, do you want a whole series on what to say to blamers and shamers as far as videos? Do you want more freezer breaker lines? Let me know what comments make you freeze, what you wish you had a response for. He didn't think it was going to be published. Why? Because he didn't have faith in you? He didn't believe in you? I say still write it. Do it for you and not for him. Um, I think I might be getting to the end, you guys. So if anybody wants to come on here, you can go on my page on the post tab and grab the link and come on here and talk. Because if nobody does, I'm just gonna finish this up and probably end it in a few minutes. Yes, I'm pretty much at the end. Um, so if you take nothing else from this live, like I said, number one, you're not stupid. Number two, slow down with people, no matter who they are. Pay attention how they make you feel. Watch the patterns. Um, with coaching courses, therapists, make sure you do the interview process, the vetting process, and watch them. Talk to other people that deal with them, read reviews, all of it. Just take your time because I wish somebody would have told me to. Because when I got out of the narcissistic abusive relationship, I was in so much pain and confusion and brain fog, and you just want it to stop. And so you're desperate. And these self aware narcissists, and I'm not saying all coaches or all therapists, because there are good programs out there, there are good therapists out there, there are good, genuine creators out there that are caring and have come from this. But just be careful because narcissists are preying upon victims or survivors of this type of abuse, coercive control, manipulation. They're looking for vulnerable people. I was thinking about coming on, but my brain feels scattered. I understand that, Deanna. There's no pressure to come on. You know, he didn't think it was going to be published. Yes, Kelly, definitely write that book, please, and let us know. Let us know when you're done and it's published, and we'd love to read it. Yeah, go for your dreams. Don't listen to people that are trying to push you down and tell you that it's not going to publish. He doesn't know that. He's projecting himself onto you. Don't believe it. We have to believe in ourselves because going through narcissistic abuse, they make you doubt yourself so much. You could share, Deanna. You're always welcome on here. Yeah, go grab the link because I'm pretty much at the end of everything I wanted to talk about. So if you guys have any questions or you want to discuss anything, um, like I said, if you take nothing else from this live, take this that you're not stupid and to slow down with people, with any decisions. Like, don't make decisions based on the fact that you're in pain, like hasty decisions. Take your time. Take your time and please don't get into another relationship. I mean, you guys can do what you want, but I'm just telling you, if you don't heal the shit that made you get into this kind of dynamics in the first place, you will repeat it. You will repeat it. You wanted to, okay, that was weird. I got cut off. You got cut off from what, Katie? From your message, your typing, or did you try to come join the live? So, where'd I get stuck here? You weren't stupid. You were vulnerable. You were hurt. You were looking for answers. You were looking for safety. And sometimes people use the right language, but don't have the right character. So protect your healing and trust slower. Watch behavior. Ask questions. Vet people and stop betting your peace on someone else's potential. Not everyone helping a survivor is safe. Not everyone blaming survivors deserves your explanation. And not everyone who understands trauma language understands how to love, support, or hold people safely. Shannon says, no more relationships for me. That's how I got into my second marriage. I feel you on that one, Shannon. Yeah. Yeah, there's a point where you just say, I'm done. It's just, it's not worth it. There's too many unhealed people um, operating out of childhood trauma. They're overgrown adults. They have adult privileges, but they're still having the mindset of a child. And it's just like a no go for me too. The live was showing is ending. I was 2 weeks out from my first marriage. And then what happened, Shannon? So not everyone blaming survivors deserves your explanation, you guys. Not everyone who understands trauma language understands how to love, support, and hold people safely. I think I already said that, but it doesn't hurt to repeat it. What is the one thing you guys wish someone warned you about after narcissistic abuse? Anybody? You cannot heal if you're not healed. Ending. I was 2 weeks out from my first marriage ending. No more relationship. That's how I got into my second marriage. So you got in your second marriage pretty quickly after the first one ended, is what you're saying? He got you because you were so vulnerable. Yeah, they play upon speed. That's why narcissists move on at God's speed. You know, they don't really end the relationship. They kind of put you on a shelf and then they pop back up later to see if you're still available. Yeah, they like you they depend on speed and intimidation and your emotions, all of it. They're very extremely manipulative. So if you guys are watching this later, save it and share it with someone who keeps blaming themselves. And if you need tools for the moments when you freeze, that's what I'm creating this space for. Someone that you think that maybe needs to slow down, because you are extremely vulnerable when you come out of narcissistic abuse. And these self-aware narcissists and some other people online are taking advantage of that monetarily with money, courses, coaching. Especially be careful of the self-aware narcissists, because man, are they getting their supply? They're making bank off of it too. So let's see. Just kind of going over some things to maybe reiterate. Use these anytime. You can say to someone, let me slow down. I want to say this carefully. It's not about attacking anyone, it's about discernment. Um, if you know, you know. You don't have to argue with people committed to understanding you. Some people ask questions to understand, others ask questions to shame. Learn the difference. Now, the videos that I made about that one guy that came in the room to shame me and blame me, because he said straight out that I got some screenshots before he erased it. He said straight out that he didn't need to ask questions, that he already knew. I was like, wow, that's interesting. He already knew me off of a 5-second video. Yeah, okay. So you can see pretty quickly once you see it, you can't unsee it. I have a question. Why do narcissists stay in a committed relationship for a long time and you have somebody on the side for an amusement? Because they need it's for image management, Kelly. So they can say, other people think, oh, look, they're married, they're in a committed relationship. And then it distracts people from what they're really doing behind the scenes, because they do have a second life. And then they usually take the grade A supply, the one that's the most understanding, the one that they feel like is never going to leave, and they make that look like the committed relationship that they are in. And they'll say things like, well, I come home every night. I come home every night to you, so how could I have, a second life? Oh, believe me, they find ways. They find ways. They are a coward. Yes, they are cowards too. If they have money. If they don't, narcs need constant supply from so many people. Reminds me of Princess Diana with Camilla in the background from day one. Care more about the money than the relationship. They care more about everything than the relationship. Exactly. So remember, you guys, just because someone's self-aware doesn't mean they're safe. Watch out for those self-aware narcissists. And you're not stupid. You are vulnerable. Helpful online does not always mean safe online. Healing spaces can hurt. Um, Narcissists know you're vulnerable. They know this when you're coming out of it. They play upon it big time. And you don't have to prove your lived experience to anybody. especially strangers. Narcissists rehearse to control. Survivors rehearse to protect themselves. The goal isn't to stop trusting, it's to trust slower. Because how many of you guys can relate to this? Like, it's really hard to trust anybody. After if someone just dupes you like that, they completely pull the wool over your eyes and make you think that they want the same thing that you do, that they make you think that they really love you, that this is real. And you find out, you get pretty much bitch slapped, that they were just pretending the whole time. They had a whole entire second life and everything was just a game for them. It makes you not trust anybody. Yeah, it really does. So it's not about stopping trusting, it's just about trusting slower and knowing who you can trust. All the signs. Narcissistic personality is not curable. No, but you'll get people online that will tell you that. I think there's a couple of there's an actual therapist. I'm not going to name names here, but I can't even remember, that claims that he can cure narcissists. And when I see stuff like that, my blood just boils. Because it's so dangerous for survivors that hold on to that hope. Well, maybe there's hope for the narcissist I'm with. Because that's what I tried. I tried, for those of you that don't know, suggested a men's group for him that helped men to feel their feelings, to get into their bodies, to, why are they watching pornography all the time? Because they want that dopamine hit, because they can't deal with what's going on in here. They can't deal with their feelings. So they need to numb out with something. And a lot of them were addicted to pornography, cheating, all of it. And you can't save them. They have to want to do things on their own, and they have to prove the change without prompting from you. It has to be sustainable change. And I don't ever see a narcissist doing that. And like I said, the self-aware narcissists that we see online, they're polished. When they're on the videos, they're very polished. They sound professional. They got their shit put together. Their videos look great. They sound competent. They sound very convincing. But we don't see what goes on behind closed doors. How do they respond when their mate says no? How do they respond when they are triggered? We don't see any of that. So it all looks good on the outside, but it doesn't mean that they're safe and they're still narcissist. Yours was all that mentioned. Remember, narcissists keep you as any object. If you want more, that becomes a threat to them because they can't provide that. How dare you want something from them? How do I get on the live? I clicked on community tab, but it's set up for sharing a post. Um, it's within, if you go to today's live, it has a picture of the subjects we talked about today. Go in the comments, and I think it's like down towards the end of the comments. Talk about your t-shirts. Yeah, I upgraded my shredding silence store today. Here's one of the shirts that came out. Now, not everybody might be bold to wear this, but came out really nice, where I have a video about where you just get so sick of the crap that the narcissist puts you through. Because you gave so much to them. You gave your mind, you gave your soul, you gave your heart, you gave your body. You gave and gave and gave and gave. And so when you come out of it, this is what happened to me and my best friend. You don't become homosexual, but you become nomosexual. Like, you don't. They have to earn access to you, whoever it is now. Which I don't plan on dating. A lot of us don't. I'm done with it. So I created this shirt. It's backwards, so the camera's backwards, but you can see it says nomosexual, not broken, not bitter, just done. And then it's got shredding silence on the back. But I updated my store. I got more stuff in there. I just want you guys to have, this is my passion. I just want to have, sometimes we want to wear the words that we couldn't say before on a shirt. And I'm making coffee mugs. Um, there's backpacks and stuff like that. There's all kinds of things I'm going to make. But Sometimes it's nice just to wear the words that we need to be reminded of. You know, I have another one, that healing one step at a time, that there's healing in solitude. Just something you can wear, that just reminds you of the path that you're on. You completely invest yourself into them that you lose yourself. Can't find it. I tried looking in the description. Really? It's not on this live description. I should have put it in here. Next time I'll do that. It's on the post tab, and I don't think I pinned it. But if you look at, I don't know if you guys could see a picture of what this, I don't know if you guys see the same thing that I do. If you guys can see a picture of what this live is about today, there's like a thumbnail. I posted that same thumbnail in the post tab, and within those comments about today's live is the link. I wish I had a way to put it in the comments here. Let me see. But it won't let me write here. I don't know why. I can't write anything in the comments. I don't know why, because I thought I did a live before where I could, answer you guys in the comments. Maybe they changed it. I don't know. YouTube's always changing, you know? Let's see. Send invite link to guest. Okay, I don't have your email or your other contact info, so I can't do it like that. Hey, Katie, let me see if I can send it to Katie, and then maybe she can post it here. Let me see if that'll work. Oh, all right. All right. I'm on my phone. Katie, I just sent it. I'm going to go to the bathroom, you guys, really quick. I'll be right back. Sorry, I don't have like fancy music or commercial to play, but here. Hello, beautiful. Can spend time with my tiger. Are you on the camera, Machi? Are you saying hi? Oops. Oh, Katie, come back. I accidentally I Deanna. Yeah, because I accidentally hit something. Katie, try it again. Hi,
I'm a,
Deanna.
hi, I'm a cup of tea. My daughter made me Earl Grey tea.
Oh, that's nice. That's a cute cup.
Yeah, I'm at my other daughter's house.
Tea is very calming for our nervous system.
Yeah, I thought that was thoughtful.
That was nice.
Is Katie trying to
There's
come
a
on?
Yeah, when I came back, I accidentally hit something and it made her go away before I could accept it. So, Katie, it did work if you try to come back. Because I think there can be a few of us on here at the same time.
Yeah, like a Zoom meeting.
Because you all need to talk. Because I'm tired. I'm getting tired of talking. It's making me thirsty. Oh, we could see what's in her refrigerator. She has a nice, clean kitchen.
I'll show you the mountain in a minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
Katie, come back. So, how you been, Deanna?
I've been okay. I want to share something kind of. I'm not sure what to make of it. Um, my husband's been nice lately.
Uh-oh.
And I don't
How
know,
does that
because
make you feel?
like I'm not complaining to him. I'm not really acknowledging too much, but I mean, it's nice, but it's like, where is this coming from? Like, I didn't ask him to step up or
Right.
do anything, and I've given up on things. So
Uh-huh.
here's the mountain.
I think you're frozen. I see that it looks like maybe the ceiling.
Oh,
So I don't know if maybe the internet got interrupted when you walked out the door.
oh, that could be. Okay, I'll go back inside.
Yeah, Katie, it said it was I wouldn't accept it because I accidentally hit the wrong thing. Really? I can only have one?
I'll
So that's
go
not what
away.
YouTube told me.
I don't have much to say.
Don't say it like that. We don't want you to go away.
So you hear me fine in the house? Okay.
Yeah, it's just stuck. Like I can't
Too
see
bad.
anything on the camera. It looks like there's ceiling.
I wanted to show you the mountain.
Maybe
Anyways,
go maybe disconnect and try to come back on and see if that corrects it maybe.
it's okay. Um,
I don't want a
I
green
don't
screen.
really trust it that he's stepping up. Like, he washed dishes and he never does. And he did dishes one day. Oh, and the 28th was our wedding anniversary, I think 32nd. And
32nd?
yeah. And I try to forget. Like, I don't know how many years I'm not into it. I just want it to pass by like it's just another day. But
Right.
toward the end of his work shift, he texted me and asked me if I wanted any flowers, because he works at a grocery store and they had like plants outside. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll just go along with this.
Right.
Because if he gives me roses, I whoop them in the trash or I give them to somebody else because I don't want to look at them. They piss me off.
Right.
So I said, oh
That's
yeah,
understandable.
there was some daylilies that I was looking at. And he actually bought them and brought them home. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Does it make you kind of suspicious? Like, okay, because I remember the ex doing that sometimes. I'm like, why are you being so nice? What did you do?
Yes.
Like it makes you
Yeah.
wonder if they did something that they're trying to cover up. It's this
Yes.
guilt.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And you know how they are with
Yeah.
acknowledging things and accountability. And he hasn't said sorry about anything for a few years. So maybe just not putting it to words.
Now, when he did say sorry, how did he apologize?
interesting question. He would write an most of the time, he would just leave a note. Like, he would be gone at work, and I'd see it later on the table. He'd write a note that he was sorry about being an a-hole the night before. It
But he
was
didn't
kind of
really like name a specific thing that he did. He would just call himself an a-hole.
yes. Yep.
Yeah. That's not really a sorry. It's not. It's just it's like a blanket statement, like I'm sorry for everything. Well, what exactly are you sorry for? They don't ever name it like a specific behavior, and then there's no change. Cuz
If
I'm sure he
somebody
did the thing again that he was supposedly sorry for, right?
mm. No, no, we didn't have any blow-ups or anything. So, it's like, where did this come from? Who did he talk to? Does he he's having a little guilt about I don't know. I don't know. No
Katie
idea.
said maybe their other supply person has not given them what they want. And then
I almost spit
Shannon
out my
said, I think the
I
first
almost
time he cheated, he bought me a car out of the blue. Wow. He did a
I wanna
big boo boo.
I almost spit out my tea when you read Katie's
Uh-oh.
comment.
Don't be choking, Deanna.
No, I won't choke. It's she makes me laugh. She's funny.
Then
I wonder how,
yeah.
what's her name? I like her handle there. Unruly peasant. I wonder how she's doing today.
Oh yeah. I don't think I saw her today. But we got
No,
some
but
new people in here.
yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that's great. All right,
Yeah, and Kelly.
I'll let Katie try again.
All right, Deanna. Thank you for coming on and sharing today.
Yeah.
It's good to kind of see you. Well, at least your teacup.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get off of here. This is funny. Ta Oh, I got it.
I don't know. I don't think I can.
Okay.
Thanks, Deanna. All right, Katie, it's open. That's weird that because I thought YouTube told me I could have 2 or 3 people on here, but it's open for you now. How many people have met their people on here? Okay, Katie, the floor's open. I'll just wait for you. Go back over some of these notes. Yeah, blanket apologies. The famous I'm sorry for everything. That was his famous lines. I'm sorry for everything. What is everything? They never name the thing. They never name the everythings. There's never accountability. There's never change. It's just transactional words with no change behavior. Image control, damage control, control over you, really. Are you having a hard time, Katie? Yeah, I thought because I used to come to lives on YouTube and they'd have several people talking on here, but you know what? Oh, there she goes. They might have been streaming on another platform. So I might try that next time to stream where more of you guys can come on here at the same time because it'd be nice to get a conversation going, especially, okay, Katie, I don't see your camera, I don't hear you, but I see the other side of the screen open. Oh, You went away and no, I don't know what's going on, but I don't hear anything and I don't see you, Katie. Yes, and popcorn, Deanna. That makes me want popcorn. Katie, I think she's trying. I think her phone, you need a new phone, girlfriend. Keep telling her she needs a new phone. I think it's your phone. Where did Honey Pepper go? Anybody else? I don't know if Kelly's still in here. Shannon. Um, who else? Yeah, I don't know. Kit, it's not working. I see you trying. Like it'll go away and then come back like you're trying to reconnect. But I don't see or hear anything. Bummer. I'll wait a few more minutes. But we've been on for over 2 hours. Want to check out the trailer for the Narc doc. Yes, thank you for reminding me, Deanna, because I'm gonna go on there and donate because I want early access. I forgot the dates exactly what they are, but on the website it'll say the dates. Hi, Kelly. Anybody else want to come on? I think um she's having trouble getting on here. So anything else you guys want to talk about or have questions about or struggles or you want to share your story? It's pretty much open now because I run out of breath after a while. Anybody want to parrot? Nope, it won't allow me in. That's a bummer. I saw it. It was trying. I wonder if it's your phone. Dang it. It's probably your phone, Katie. You need a new phone. Why do you have a parrot, Deanna? I only have my phone and I've used up my data. It's so slow. That's a bummer, Shannon. Anybody else? So I'm getting tired. Another word for talk. Yes, parrot talk. Probably. Yes, it's your phone. Need a new phone. All right, you guys. Well, maybe I'll wrap it up unless you guys want to talk anything else about anything else. Oh, shit. Yeah, I didn't get to see the mountain. Deanna, maybe next time. It's cool that you live by a mountain. It's probably so nice to sit out there with your coffee or your tea. Hmm. Yeah, you have a peaceful. I'll just wait a few more minutes. So I don't want to cut nobody off. And if you have any other things you want to talk about, this was a good live today. Thank you, Dan. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I'm glad you were all here today. Thank you. And thank you to my moderators. You always do an awesome job keeping this a safe space. That mountain would be a great view. I would, but it's so ugly. What's ugly? Have a good evening and keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Always, Stargazer. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you for being on to help people. You're welcome, Kelly, and thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, coming onto this space and let me know. You can always post in the community in the post tab. Anything that you guys want to talk about next time, and I will make videos out of it, and then come on here and we can discuss it. And hopefully more people can come on next time. I'll figure out a way. There's another platform where more multiple people can come on. So I got to figure out how to make that work. I tried it before, but we'll get there. I'm slowly learning, more things the more lives I do. So you guys always remember, never allow anybody to dim your light and always choose yourself. Thanks again for all of you being here. I love all of you guys. No, well, it could be Zoom, but it's another platform where it actually connects. You can connect TikTok and YouTube at the same time. So thanks, everybody. Love you all. Bye. Remember, slow down.